All right, only a few more editions, NFL editions, of course, of Off and On the Clock. We got the conference championship slate on tap this weekend. The lobby, as usual, is packed with contests. We'll do our usual, running through some draft strategy, our favorite angles, and then we'll get to work, roll up our sleeves, build some pick'ems. I'm Pete with Jon and Nez. This is Off and On the Clock. Let's do it. All right, fellas, how are we doing on this Friday afternoon? I know you guys have been in the NBA streets, but the lobby's ready for us in the NFL regard.
The lobby might be gone before us, man. People are frothy for this two-gamer.
Knew it would happen. Man. People love, these four-person drafts always go so much faster. They feel so much quicker. And it's the last hurrah, man. Everybody knows it. It's the last big BR slate of the NFL season. So, we got to show up and show out.
It is. I know. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. I looked at the fill rate on the main BR and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, this thing is zipping. And I'm like, are these the hardcore BR drafters all year? Or are these the people who are like fiending for the big board to drop? And they're like, I need something. I need it. And I'm hopping in. But regardless, it's getting filled.
Man, way too soon for big board talk for my liking. Like, let's start filling the dinger. Let's do dog bowl stuff like this. But Norris with a little tease yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that one. He's like, who's ready to start drafting? And they did a top 36, like a way too early 36. I was like, holy smokes, guys. Let's let this thing breathe a little bit.
We had that moment because we did ship chasing yesterday, and at the very end we started talking because Pat's already working on his rankings for the big board because they got to be ready when it drops. And like I was half torn. Half of me was like you, Jon. I was just like, I cannot do this right now. And the other half is like, but where do you have JSN ranked? So yeah, it is coming, and it's gonna come fast and quick. I'm gonna do my usual thing. I mean, I'll draft with you guys on here, if we're doing it off and on the clock, but I need a little drafting break. I need it every year. Yeah. Even to be completely honest, I was telling these guys I have not drafted this slate. Like I've gone hard every single slate, balls to the wall for like 17, 18 weeks. And I'm just like, all right, I'm downshifting a little bit in the NFL regards, but we're gonna put on a show for the people today.
Absolutely, yeah. Ripped off a couple this morning here. Man, these four-person drafts are fun. I'm not gonna lie, like just in general, like you touched on that to start there, Nez. Just in general, like when we get those dad slates or we get these four-person like primetime palooza style for a main, four-person drafts are a lot of fun.
They're fun. They go fast, and it's always like a nice new element whenever there's no ADP, and it's just like you versus the way players are sorted, and you can kind of put together your own rankings. The problem with that for me is like I've done quite a bit of these drafts, and after a certain moment, you start to feel like there's like one truth to these. Like it's just like this is the order that these players should go. This is the orders that these players have to go. And so I'm excited to talk with you guys and get some new takes in, so I can maybe massage my rankings a little bit and stop just taking the top player in my queue every single time.
It's really hard. Yeah. And I mean, to an extent, that's kind of happened the past two slates to me. Wild card and divisional, obviously shorter than a full main. And like you get anchored to how you have things, because I think the fact that there's less decision points gives you like more overconfidence, because you're basically saying, if I take a stand on these two things and I'm right, like I'm going to have everything lined up. Whereas on a main slate, you're like, okay, I get these two things right. A bunch of shit could happen over here. Like even last week I was light on Travis Kelce, which was like the death of me. And it was like one thing like, oh, I'm going to, devalue tight ends. Like, oh, the week before I'm going to devalue Derrick Henry a little bit. And it's just like, fuck, like you miss one thing on that. You're done. So
it's crazy, right? Yeah. Honestly, it feels like that's the way it's been all season for me, at least. Like I'm always like pressing the wrong buttons and devaluing the wrong things at the wrong time.
Well, and just we've talked about that over the summer too. I remember talking about it with Karain, where a pick immediately, psychologically looks a lot better once you've done it a few times, because you have convinced yourself of that reality of, no, this guy's smashing. I've taken him 6 times already. And then it's like each time you get more and more confidence on that pick, which I think is why we see a lot of the auto bros doing really well right now, because they've almost separated that on the clock psychological bias that we deal with at times.
Yeah.
All right, where do you guys want to start here? Do you want to talk about each individual game, some macro stuff? Do you want to just dive right into kind of the ADP landscape? What do you want to do?
I want to start with one thing from last week that was kind of a sore spot for you, Pete. Sorry that you didn't take down that winner takes all second place there. But the man who came in first there, Chris, just dropped by to give us 20 gifted subs, 10 each here. So mad respect to Chris, unnecessary, but much appreciated. Thanks for rolling through. Sorry it had to come at the expense of our guy, Pete.
I think I told this story somewhere already, but the most brutal thing, and I'm very happy for Chris. The thing was, I didn't even know about this sweat because how it works on the app, right? Like you kind of scroll through and you see like, oh, I have a team that's making $1,000 in the BR. Let me check that out and see if it can make a run. When you're in the winner take all, it just says 0.
Yeah.
And I was with my buddies. Like obviously I was like scanning to see if I had any good teams in the other, but I didn't even think to click through on that contest. Yeah. And then I tag from Chris on Twitter. He's like, I hope this holds. And so then it's like the last, 5 minutes of the game. And I'm like pulling this up and I'm like, man, all I need is like Josh Allen to like do anything. And I'm going to win. I'm like, God fucking damn it, Chris. Fully unaware. And instead I had to go through the 8K emotional rigor there, but congratulations, Chris. Well-deserved. Thank you for the memberships and glad you held on.
Pete, you got to get on more trips here, bro. Every time you're on a trip, you get a sweat.
Yeah.
The dog bowl weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal. Like just get your heart ripped out.
Yeah. You kind of get wrong too, right? I can't. That dog bowl slate was definitely the worst.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know who's this referencing. Chris, for the love of God, push the plane.
It's the wrong Chris. It's a different Chris car park.
Yeah. There's a Chris out here, literally username Chris. And he's a clock. He takes all 30 seconds of every single pick, every single one.
That's hilarious.
He's a master after. So it's like, how are you doing this? How are you managing this?
You know how we come up with a million crazy ideas for Underdog to implement. John, what if there's like this poker thing, the equivalent of like calling the clock on someone that like, like once every 10 drafts, you get to call a clock on a guy. You're like, now you have 10 seconds. Let's go, buddy. Pick it up.
That's legit. I like that. Or force guys to use a time bank chip. Like they use the extended clock. Because once you run out of time bank, you auto disconnect nowadays. So you got to click the time bank one. So there you could have a add-on time bank for like sweaty spots.
Yeah. I think weren't people talking about that? I think it would make more sense for like 18 round drafts, MLB, BBM, where it's like you have a set allotment of time. And if you want to like speed your picks and then you're actually like in a spot where you're like, all right, now I want to use a little bit of it, where that would be kind of interesting as well. Although people would get super tilted if you saved your whole clock and then you're using like 4 minutes on your last pick.
It has to be like a max like 1 minute or something. But still, I do like that idea.
That would probably actually happen too, Pete. Is people would just inadvertently accidentally leave it. They'd be like, oh, nobody's going to pick this guy, and then hit the star and then close the app, and they wouldn't push the plane. So that 4-minute bleed would just happen on the last pick. That would happen for sure.
Yeah, scratch that idea. Don't listen to me. That would lead to more tilt. All right, let's talk about these games maybe from a macro first, and then we can pull up the lobby here. Both games, and let's see if I can get a screen up with some of these odds. But I believe last I looked, both like very similar spreads and very similar totals for these two games.
Yeah. Both 48.5.
How's that look?
Oh, here you go. Yeah, let's get us up here on the screen. Let me go push us up here and do this. There we go. All right, you're getting us some NBA news here while we're at it.
Checking things out.
Yeah, so I'm making this a little bigger. Are you able to zoom on that screen a little bit, John? There we go. Now people can see. All right, yeah, both 48.5. And you got Eagles 6.5 point home faves, and then the Chiefs -2. I guess, are you guys, I understand why the Chiefs are favored. I just think the Bills are so clearly the better team right now. Does that line surprise you guys?
I'm not surprised they're favored. No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Bills will win, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
there comes a tipping point when you win 16 straight one-score games that the books just go, well, fucking put them -2, I guess.
Right. because they know even if it was like Bills -1, like the entire thing would be like, you're gonna spot Patrick Mahomes 1 point at home. Fuck yeah, brother.
There has to be a part of it, right? I mean, I know like the whole point is trying to get even money on both sides of a spread, but I mean, I think it's a big part of it for sure.
Yeah. So do you guys have a lean in, or how do you guys think these games are going to go? You know, maybe more through like a fantasy perspective with the same exact total. Do you think one of them is more inviting for fantasy purposes?
Well, I would like to think the Eagles Commanders one is based on what we saw the last time those teams matched up, and that was without Jalen Hurts for 3/4 of that game, and it still went nuke back and forth. But this Eagles roster, man, it's so deep, it's so legit. They're so good in every vicinity of the ball that I am somewhat scared, especially without their best O lineman with Washington there, that it'll be a little bit different game script than we saw last week against the Lions. There, less blitzing, more making Jaden Daniels beat you through the air kind of thing, and that doesn't bode as well for the Commanders there. So I hope that if I had to pinpoint like one game that like I hope out of these two games would be the shootout potential, I hope that it would be that one. That's how I would play it, but I'm not overly bullish on that idea.
Yeah, I would love that game to be. I mean, obviously, I would love both these games to be awesome.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, you know, the magic carpet ride for the Commanders is about to like come to an end with this Eagles defense. I do wonder how the Commanders beat if Jaden Daniels does this, man, it gets to the Super Bowl. I mean, holy shit. Like what a story that would be. But like this Eagles defense is so good. It's so good. And like they're leaning on De'Ami Brown right now. Like, come on, man. Like, are they really about to do this? I mean, if they do, it's because like the Eagles can't do anything offensively, but we're also looking at a Saquon Barkley pick'em of 131 rushing yards.
Jesus.
Like, holy shit, brother. I mean, this is just that to me screams like Eagles steamroll. I would love to be surprised.
The other portion with that is the way in which the Commanders had the best success that we've seen yet against the Bucs. There was ball control, right? Long, sustained drives, running everything through Jaden Daniels, and that chews a lot of clock. And then you couple that with the fact that Saquon Barkley's pick'em is so effing high, and you think they're going to establish here in a big way with the best offensive line and Hurts' inability to throw in recent memory. Like, it just sets up for a clock churning game, which is not good for shootouts.
That was like my initial read on both of these spreads is they seemed a smidge aspirational. Like I think if I bet those, I'm taking the under on both of them. Just the way like the Eagles and the Chiefs are the favorites, and the way they win games are long, sustained drives, good defense, slowing things down, not giving up explosive plays. It's like I really hope they go over, but it does not feel like spots where it goes over the total.
Yeah, like Mahomes only had 20 dropbacks last week, and that game kind of just felt entirely in control, right?
Yep. Yeah. Any other angles here from the macro on these games that is interesting to you?
I was just kind of thinking out loud. Well, I'm not thinking out loud. I'm about to think out loud, but I was thinking when Nez was talking there about like the skill position players for the Commanders. Can you imagine the narrative of like a Chiefs Commanders Super Bowl between like juxtaposing the skill position players there? Like you have like a first round exciting rookie with the 40-yard dash time. You have the Kareem Hunt resurgence story. You have two potential Hall of Famers in DeAndre Hopkins and Travis Kelce on that side. And then you look at the Commanders and it's just like, yeah, De'Ami Brown and Olmade Sakinius and Austin Eckler, the corpse of Austin Eckler. Like it would just be such a funny, because you're going to get the 2 weeks of nationally televised Super Bowl discourse. It would just be hilarious to have those conversations all week long. Yeah.
And I feel like that's the big riddle for kind of fantasy, right? Because the Eagles are heavily concentrated. You know exactly where the ball is going on this team, but all the 3 other teams, and it's probably what makes it such a fun fantasy slate, is it's so flat. It's so spread out. You shouldn't be shocked if it's Olamide who shows up or Diami. You shouldn't be shocked if it's Amari who shows up or Keon Coleman, if it's Noah Gray or Justin Watson. Like these teams go so deep in their weapons that that's really what we're trying to solve for, right? On a slate like this.
Yeah. I mean, who's the flex that you need, and how many points do you need from that flex player? I mean, it would not surprise me if like the highest scoring flex was like under 10 points that you could have in your starting lineup this week. I mean, it's kind of hilarious, man. I mean, it's with these weapons that the Bills have, at least on paper, and the Chiefs too. I mean, like the ancillary Bills receivers, like Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper, basically put up donuts. DeAndre Hopkins and Hollywood Brown both put up donuts last week. I mean, like it's an absolute like choose your own adventure. Like throw your hands in the air. Like what the fuck does one do here? I mean, I know what I've been doing, but like it's when you're looking at box scores, it's like what the hell do I do? I guess I choose Diami Brown. Like I guess.
Yeah, and I've seen like with the Chiefs specifically because of like the Hopkins and Pacheco flops, like there's way more interest in Noah Gray and P. Ryan. Like I've heard those guys mentioned way more this week than those other two, just because it's like, fuck, like if I'm going to get an ADP discount, an ownership discount and maybe a black box of a guy who's not perform or hasn't shown that they can't perform, like I'd rather that than the guy who just bageled.
Right.
Yeah. In that same vein, hasn't Jahan Dotson with one touchdown outscored both AJ Brown and Devonta Smith this postseason, like for playoff contests? It's got to be close, right?
7.6, Devon 7.5 and 4.1,
okay.
and 1.5 and 2.4. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Like,
wow.
Just turn the clock back 3 weeks ago when we're talking about those playoff builds and stuff like that. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's been so frustrating. No wonder AJ Brown is starting a book club. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. And in that same vein, like Jalen Hurts QB4 on this slate, maybe not by ADP, but like if in practice, people do not want Jalen Hurts. They don't like what they've seen. Oh yeah. Wow. I've seen it quite a bit. Which like I don't know, man. I'll take the tush push. Like I'm good.
Something's wrong there, right? Either the Eagles shouldn't be 6.5 point favorites, or Hurts should be always going like ahead of Mahomes, right? Like I feel like one of those two things should be true. Like if you believe that line and like that Jalen Hurts is okay, then you should be taking him earlier in drafts.
Full participant. I don't know.
Yeah, I got two questions about that. Are you guys concerned about Cam Jurgens' status? Like he's been DNP, like so much has been made about like the Kelsey Center.
Tell me who Cam Jurgens is, and then I'll tell you if I'm concerned.
I mean, like so much was made of the center exchange and the Kelsey era turning to him, and with the tush push, and then obviously the big bulky, brace that's on Mahomes or Hurts's knee right now. Like, would they be a little more apprehensive to use him in a goal line situation?
Well, thankfully for you, Pete, you don't have to think about it too much because apparently Jurgens is practicing and playing. So your answer to that can be like, yeah, I'm not really too worried about it, but I would be for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was about to lose some sleep, so I'm glad. That was a whirlwind of emotions there.
John just likes to flex on us.
True ball knowers, dude. They scroll.
Well, and I feel like that the stuff with Hurts, I think there was reasonable uncertainty heading into last week's game, based on what had happened in the Green Bay. But then it's like he rips off a 35-yard touchdown run. It's like, all right, then you see him, there's like, okay, now he can only roll to one side. And then it's like, well, he rolls to the other side, makes the throw. Then it's like, all right, so the guy's fucking fine. And he's going to do what Jalen Hurts does. I do think it's interesting, though, through like the passing game, like what you do with AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, because they just haven't been big parts of the offense right now.
Well, none of the passing components have been, because they just haven't been passing. Like, it's been 100 yards for Hurts last week and stuff like that. And if you're a believer in that spread and the Barkley line, they also may not have to pass again, which is crazy, because if their defense holds up their end of the exchange here, it could just be, Saquon one-off is what you need, exactly what we saw last week. So, yeah, it's very interesting.
And that's why I think, like, obviously on a slate this small, you're just gonna have to try to jam in some points. But like, if you are like the Eagles have been such a game script dependent team, right? It really feels like it's Hurts and Barkley, or you get the really fun scenarios where you say the Commanders hop out to a 2-score lead, some big plays, and all of a sudden the Eagles can't just play ball control and they actually have to drop back and air it out again. And then you get that back and forth. And that's a pretty fun game script to tell yourself. And it goes against, I think, probably how people are going to draft it, how people are going to bet it. But like, that is in the cards. Like, the Commanders can score quick, and we could finally see the Eagles have to play a little differently.
I think there'd be way more leverage in playing it that way on like Redacted than our site, because I think what happens with only 2 games and 4 teams being drafted is people funnel themselves to that build accidentally all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like there's a little bit less leverage in it here than there. But yeah.
It would probably have to be like a backdoor double stack, right? Where like you do Hurts, Goddard, and Devontae kind of thing, or a flyer, a Jahan Dotson, like, and you're playing like the weird shootout angle.
Yeah. Or you do like Barkley plus Gainwell, and Gainwell's the flex you need where he scores a touchdown because Barkley's already got 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like some weird ass shit like that. Nez, I got a question for you because you've done the most volume here. You alluded to the fact of the phrase was, "I know what I'm doing," when you were talking there. What are you doing?
Good. That's a great question. I'm still trying to figure that out. No, I've got Kelsey 102 on this one. Just feeling strong Vorp on this, and also just like as far as pass catchers go, he's like the second best projected pass catcher, not just like player, like pass catcher. So like that, coupled with the fact that he's a tight end, to me is like clear and obvious 102 on this slate. And anytime that I love chasing the puck, instead of chasing where the puck's going. So we just saw a great Kelsey game. This I'll probably get rugged on this, but I'm taking Kelsey 102. And I mean, kind of have to talk about it. There are Saquon Kelsey teams out there. I don't know that I have any, but in the big BR, there's going to be Kelsey Saquon teams. So do with that information what you will. Like I don't think it's necessarily the end all be all. Cost is going to fill anyways, but something to think about when constructing these teams, I think.
It definitely feels like a primetime palooza in that regard, where it's like, if you're playing like a big portfolio and you're going to mass enter, you should be staggering them, and you should, guys who play that strategy will know how to play that strategy for a slate like this. But I think for like some of the guys who are only putting in like 20 bullets and stuff like that, you got to get really creative and just know that like, hey, the value of this lineup that I'm creating isn't what the GM ones are going to be, but at least I'm giving myself a path, right? So, I mean, I don't want to go the bridge too far on like a double tight end or something like that, but pairing like, that last flex piece as someone who nobody else is going to click, the Ray Davises of the world who, found a touchdown last week with the first goal line opportunity, like that sort of deal, right?
Yeah. I think it's a really good point. You don't want to play a 4v4 against those kind of teams, right? Right. So you say, well, what are those? If someone gets that GM, right? They're saying, I do not want to fuck this up. Their hands are getting clammy. They're chalking it up the rest of the build. How do you beat that build? Okay, you're scrolling to a guy that they're going to draft someone that's going to be 100% drafted, almost like guaranteed with that start. So you can get to something not. I think that's how you think about it. And I think it's smart to get in front of the tilt of, oh my God, there's a Kelsey Barkley team. Yeah, I've literally seen them posted.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I've added Numi.
No. Did you guys see the snipe? Did you guys see the new sniper GIF? I had never seen. Shout out to Nick who made the sniper GIF.
Yeah, he's the king of gift making. Yeah, put like Numi superimposed on it.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, put Numi with the Underdog logo as a sniper. That was very good, very clever.
Look at this. Mathology in the chat who's going ice fishing on Sunday, and he needs a pick'em entry for the ice shanty and grilling venison. This was a really nice way, or a really clever way, to tell us how great your life is there.
Yes.
It sounds like you don't need a pickup for that, but we will oblige you regardless.
Sounds like he needs to spice it up a little bit, melt some of that ice, get some nice weather going down there, a little spice in his life.
I will say I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad they're running it back this weekend with the split the pot thing.
Oh, yeah.
It just doing some like uber gross ones trying to get a nice payout there. Because what the Gibbs, what did it pay out, like $7 or something?
You got your money back. I think you literally got your money back on Gibbs. Like they might, I think if you take Barkley in that, they should actually like remove money from your account.
Yeah,
Barkley's the first. Like you should be punished for that. Like here's a lesson, bud. Like make better EV decisions with this. I will say they did change up the promo. So
what is the change?
So you apply the token, and it's a pick 3. And all 3 of those players should be from that game. And you only get you don't apply it to a player, you apply it to the entire entry. And then all 3 of those players in that entry are used for your first touchdown, split the pot.
So they're going to take my $5 for Nick Remigio, Reggie Gilliam, and what other deep cut we're going to pull out there?
Yes.
Okay. I like that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that when we do pick'ems here. Any other, so Nez, I would say on the other side of the VORP conversation with Kelsey, the quarterbacks are almost the opposite end of the spectrum, where Allen looks pretty overvalued, especially if what you're telling me is Jalen Hurts could literally be the last pick in some of your drafts.
Yes. Yeah, that's where I'm at. If knowing that dichotomy exists, I'm basically passing over Josh Allen quite a bit, but especially because too, Josh Allen does go to the Saquon drafter sometimes. So it's like, okay, you do have a Josh Allen team. Cool. Those combos also exist. So just something else to consider. I think for me, the biggest thing is trying to figure out what I'm doing at the flex. And I think 2 tight end is actually in play this week. I just think it's going to be unique. I think there's some pretty well projecting players back here. And I just think it's a way to separate this week in a way that actually makes sense. Whereas other weeks, I don't think it made as much sense as it does this week. But in general, yes, the TLDR quarterbacks, I am pushing quarterback because I'll take last round Jalen Hurts all day.
Yep. Yeah. And then, because what the double tight end, I mean, are you referencing anyone other than Knox and Noah Gray?
No, Calcaterra was interesting for a moment, but now we've got the big green tag, active tag on Goddard. No thanks, but I like Ertz quite a bit in this matchup. So I'm doing some Ertz with Kelsey, some Ertz Goddard, and I will do Knox and Noah Gray as a flex too.
Well, you want to talk about how do you beat the GM teams, and you're saying how does Kelsey fail? It's Noah Gray does. Who won the dog bowl seat the week that Noah Gray went absolutely nuts?
E. Coxer, I think.
Yeah.
E. Coxer, right? And it's Kelsey had a pretty shitty game that week, right? Those guys, the ceiling game for Noah Gray is going to be, adversely correlated with the Kelsey performance.
100%.
Yep.
You
guys want to know something crazy with tight end while we were looking at it? What do you think the high for Dalton Kincaid yardage in a game is this season?
It's got to be 44 yards.
50?
It's 52. Yeah. Oh, 53. He did 53 once.
Yeah, see? Watch your mouth.
There you go.
You got 53.
53.
I just want to say, I checked out this new YouTube channel. I think it's called Chesley. I heard you shout it out. It was cool. I think you should do more recommendations. I found it, and there was some really good stuff over there. So thanks for that recommendation.
Is that a tip on the wager? Just an extra add-on to the wager that Liam and I did. We had to give one more.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little running back and wide receiver here. Obviously, not much to say about Barkley, undisputed 101, and then kind of cascading teardrops, right? James Cook pretty clearly in a tier of his own. Brian Robinson, Kareem Hunt, probably in a tier, and then shrug your shoulders, roll the dice kind of thing. Would you guys agree with that?
100%. 100%. What you're seeing in my experience is Pacheco and Ty Johnson being, a lot like most often undrafted. Eckler usually goes every draft, but Pacheco and Ty Johnson are usually like the last available. They're like they go undrafted quite a bit. And we saw Ray Davis get some good work too. You can always, roll the dice on some more Ray Davis. He looks good when he runs.
Yeah, he looks explosive when he runs for sure. Like that's why a lot of people are enamored with him in best ball season. But it's crazy, man. He was in concussion protocol, comes out of concussion protocol, and gets the first goal line carry. Like, wasn't that shocking to anybody else? Like that one seems like the fact that it was
to me. Yeah. I had a lot of James Cook.
Like it's kind of crazy that like the guy who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns didn't get the first crack in their first playoff game. Like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these teams, I guess in one hand, it's like James Cook led the league in rushing touchdowns. So that's kind of surprising. On the other hand, like the Bills have been pretty herky-jerky with their usage too, of those guys. Like James Cook is really good at the passing game. And they're like, no, we love Ty Johnson more.
Yeah. Actually, he's Brian Robinson now.
Yeah.
But I think that's the reason why he's in a clear tier below Barkley. For a couple of reasons, but it's like, you don't know if you're going to get squeezed in both directions, and you don't get your own goal line carry, then it starts to get really, really dicey there. Let's see. Any other thoughts kind of at running back? I will say, and I see someone screaming about it in the chat. I kind of agree with the screaming, and that P-Ryan of like these deep cuts is probably the most interesting to me, in that we just haven't really seen a lot of games where the Chiefs have played from behind. And I really think, similar to what we were talking about with Commanders Eagles, if Bills get up two scores, you're going to see P. Ryan on the field a ton. We know he has the juice. We've seen him, take some of those screen passes to the house. Like that's in the same way we were all kind of getting excited for like Ty Johnson, Oppo Ravens, or Justice Hill, Oppo Bills stuff last week. That's P. Ryan this week for the Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm with it, man. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. We just haven't seen it yet. Could easily see it here. I haven't gotten there much, but I think it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think would you guys play him naked, or would you just play that only as a tethered to Mahomes one?
Good question. I think preferred with Mahomes, right?
Right. Yeah, like part of a game environment play there. I like to think through like those little aspects of the hand builds here, because like I think there's certain running backs, like obviously Ty Johnson is going to pair well with Allen. Like, like there's just like some obvious ones like that. Is P. Ryan kind of like the next layer of that?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the Chiefs have been, they're pretty calculated with how they deploy these guys. They've just had so many game scripts where they're like, Hunt, Pacheco, just carry the ball 3 yards, first down, second down, Mahomes makes some magic happen on third. Like, I do think that's what's kind of fun to me about thinking through who are the players in the ADPs that could be really wrong if the game scripts are different than how we expect.
Yeah.
I do think it's also a little bit of a misnomer. Like there's in the chat there, like Curry Goat saying like Hunt's involved in the pass game. Like Hunt's had 1 catch, 0 catches, 2 catches, 1 catch, 0. Like it's kind of a misnomer. It is a trailing script, Samaje P. Ryan role. Like they don't really throw to the running back anymore since the Jarrett McKinnon era.
Yeah. And like this is still the team that hasn't cleared 30 points. Like all of their games have been close. Like how often have we seen them down, you know, a lot in a game and be forced to like, fuck it. Like Mahomes has to drop back every down.
Yeah.
Let's talk receivers control, because this is probably, there's no Barkley up top. There's no Kelsey up top. There's not strong depth like there is with quarterback. I like Terry McLaurin, but if Terry McLaurin's the 101 of wide receivers on a slate, it's a pretty weak wide receiver slate.
Let's be real. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy to just not see AJ Brown 101. Like, just like we haven't seen it in the last like 6 or 7 games, and we have like Hurts hasn't been good. But when you just like push these names all juxtaposed to one another, and then you factor in the matchup, like he gets a rookie corner, and every other defense is like pretty solid versus the pass, especially the guy going 1-0-1 is going against the toughest pass defense on the slate. It's just kind of interesting. I don't know that I would start doing AJ Brown like 1-0-1 of the wide receiver position, but like I just find it interesting to bring up.
Yeah.
And with that said, I have AJ Brown over Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Just I'm taking the grown ass man over the little speedster. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just
well, because to your point, Nez, I mean, we still know, even though the game script hasn't gone that way, like if one of these guys is going to get 12 targets and go for 100 yards and 2 TDs, it's AJ Brown. Like,
right.
Like, you know, maybe it is crazy to say that, yeah, Xavier Worthy's like median is probably higher than AJ Brown right now, but I think you're crazy to say his ceiling is.
I agree.
But after that, man, like after AJ Brown, I mean, holy cow. Shakur has been solid, but has shown no ceiling, like basically no red zone involvement unless he's, you know, yakking something from 40 yards out. Devontae Smith, big playability, but just targets are not there. De'Ami Brown feels like he could just get sidestepped by Olamide on a moment's notice if like the zone coverage is better than the man or whatever. But then we're down to guys who like literally bageled in a couple of games here. What are you guys doing at wide receiver?
I mean, the De'Ami Brown stuff is wild. It's wild. I mean, this dude all season long, right? He had 2 games of over 50 yards. One was like a house call against the Browns, and then he had 50 yards in that shootout against Philly. And then up until this point, this dude does nothing. I mean, for his entire career, bless his heart, you know, like hasn't done anything. and then the playoffs roll around, and all of a sudden, this guy is like, holy shit! Like, where'd this guy come from? He looks awesome. He has a role. He has a defined role. He's yakking it up. Like, it's hard not to like trust your eyes on this and like tell yourself that like De'Ami Brown looks good. He looks the part. He looks like he is a big part of this offense. I'm capitulating. I'm in. All right, cool. De'Ami Brown, yeah, like you know, five targets, 8 targets, almost 100 yards against the Lions. All right, bro. Like you win. You look the part. I am taking you over all of these Buffalo receivers not named Shakir, all of these Chiefs wide receivers not named Xavier Worthy, and it's just something I never would have thought in a million years.
I mean, not you know, people talking about Olamide. I think they get used differently, and not to get my hand too far in the dirt, but a lot of what the ball knower said about De'Ami is he's really good against man coverage. They're using him more as a deep threat. Like the Olamide game against the Falcons, that was a lot of quick hitters using him underneath, you know, letting him kind of work after the catch. Like I would leave a candle on for Olamide having a good game. I just think they're almost completely different players. And obviously De'Ami's game lends itself to fantasy more because when he hits, like his ADOT and stuff is going to be so much bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting to talk through the dynamic of this matchup, though, because I don't anticipate the Eagles to blitz as much, and yet they've still been able to get pressure with fewer. So when they have more defenders downfield, you would think the De'Ami stuff wouldn't be as wide open, and you would need some more of that quick hitter, quick release stuff that last week and the last 2 weeks, actually, Jaden's just taken off and ran on his own accord. So maybe he does need a little bit of this quick release valve, get the ball out quickly stuff. I don't know. Just bro sciencing, but I think you have to take De'Ami ahead. Nez, when you were talking about De'Ami and him being a playoff performer here, made me chuckle that 2001 Pat Crane would tell you that the thesis all along on De'Ami Brown was that he would show out in the playoffs. That was the BBM thesis from the jump.
Oh yeah, man, that was I forgot. I mean, that feels so long ago.
It was a lifetime ago.
Yeah. I guess this means that maybe in a couple years, Jalen Polk will be drafting him on the conference championship slate after like a year 6 breakout. Any Any other kind of deep scrolls you guys like at wide receiver? Like if we're going to get down to like this Hopkins and down, Nez, just give me the cutoff. Like who's getting draft? Is like Hopkins getting drafted in every draft?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where does it cut off to like you're down like sub 50%?
Amari Cooper, Mac Hollins, like that, like Olamide.
Yeah, I've seen Coleman go undrafted a couple times too. Okay. Just where people double up on flex and stuff like that. Like I had an opportunity to take him with the last pick and scrolled the F down instead, kind of deal.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I will say I am like loving this Hollywood Brown stuff. I don't care that it's a flat 0 in the results. I know what I know. I don't know if you guys heard of this cool stat called air yards, but Hollywood Brown
Nez air yards by low model.
Yeah. So in my model here, no, man. Hollywood Brown, 67 air yards, 33 and a half ADOT. I mean, like, could have had a monster game if Hollywood Brown connects. If Hollywood Brown connects on any of those on either of those passes, he's going ahead of like all. He's behind DeAndre Hopkins, right? He's going ahead of like Devontae Smith here.
That is weird to me that he's behind DeAndre. But again, when I say behind, right, we're looking at projections. We're not looking at ADP, but is that actually what's happening in drafts?
I think so. I mean, I just have a big high ranking on Hollywood, so like I'm taking him like a lot. So I don't really know. I don't get a chance to see it.
I never fuck around and find out what his true ADP is.
I guess we'll never know. Someone else can tell me.
All right. A-Win's in the streets. He says 50-50 on him versus Hopkins, which again always kind of goes to show, because it's not like Hopkins. It'd be one thing if Hopkins had like 3 for 40 last week. I mean, Hopkins was dust last week too. It proves the anchoring bias of the default settings in the app, because I think even if you were just being completely like recency bias, like you mentioned with the air yard stuff, who had the better bagel, it was definitely Hollywood Brown.
The everything bagel there.
John, you got any deep scrolls down here?
I like Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder can get it done multiple ways. I just talked about like the quick hit potential there, but the Olamide, I always fuck up his name. Olamide Zakinius, like kind of.
There's no N in his name,
dude. Hey, we play 7 sports out here, man. Live with it. We play 7 sports out here. You gotta live with this shit.
You did the half like confidence. I'll just say it, but then like a little lack of confidence. I'll say it really fast and move on. You're like, oh, Olamide Zakinius. He's talking about the vegetable, bro.
Yeah, little zucchini. Put a little zucchini on the grill there.
Big Z.
Hey, I'm gonna start calling him Oz. New nickname.
There you go.
There we go. Big Oz. Down tick last week, and it kind of came at the expense of Jamison Crowder getting up to 40% of snaps there. And if you score on special teams, it counts in our format, and he's the primary punt returner. Not that, just a small little margin of uptick there for adding 6 to your total potentially there. But yeah, I mean, just kind of less Luke McCaffrey in recent weeks and less Oz and a little more.
I will say I was just pulling up the utilization report at Fantasy Life just to kind of check the Crowder stuff. Higher targets per route run than Terry McLaurin last week. Obviously ran a third of the routes, but getting targeted when he's out on the field. Higher targets per route run than Olamide. Diami was actually the highest. He was at 29% last week. But I think the takeaway as we talk about these commanders, right, is, understanding that none of them outside of Terry really separate every week. And it shouldn't shock you if it's an Olamide game, a Jamison game, or a Diami. And that would lead me to kind of playing the guys that aren't getting drafted that much.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I'll say is that shout out Hayden on their podcast talked about how this little Zach Ertz arrow route at the goal line is kind of like their 101 of first read pass stuff. The guy who fills in that and the way in which scored 2 touchdowns most recently in that role, if anything happened to Ertz or if they just wanted to run it with a different look to it, would be Jamison Crowder.
There we go. Now we're really getting some ball knowing going.
What year is it, man? They got Jamison Crowder and Zach
Yeah.
Ertz as their number 2 and 3 options. Like, this is the best team ever in 2018.
Fucking right. It looks like one of my dinger drafts.
Nez, have you clicked any player below Jamison Crowder that I'm showing on the screen right now?
I wish I could say I have, but no, I have not.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering, like, I could maybe see like a Juju or Justin Watson dart.
Yeah,
but,
no, I think they're worth it. They're worth it. I haven't done it yet though.
Yeah. John,
you guys want to know something that's crazy though? Did you guys even realize that KJ Osborne was on the practice squad for that team? Like, how far down bad are those best ball bags where we were stacking JJ McCarthy with KJ Osborne as WR3 for the Vikings end of the season there?
How about stacking
right?
KJ Osborne with Drake May?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Drake May. Yeah. He had already moved on. Yeah, but Drake May. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, and Juju was on the Patriots to start the year too. We got 2 Patriots wide receivers in the player.
Oh, yeah, you did once tout Juju. You did.
I did. Follow the money.
All of these guys more successfully chasing a ring than Deontay Johnson. Congrats to them.
Crazy.
Oh man, you got me scrolling down so far that seeing this out tag on Sky Moore makes me sad.
Britton Covey, people forget.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. You guys, should we do a draft?
Yeah, let's get you in here, Pete.
I know this is seriously my first one. I would not lie to anyone here. This is all the way on the back. So let me get a shot. We can do a small field one as well, but let me get one in the big dog here.
Yeah. Got to see the leaderboard.
that's the truth.
Look at these sickos
right
already in there.
Oh yeah, the sniper gift man himself, Chipsy.
Yeah. So what you're typically seeing is Saquon Kelsey, but Nick is a bit of a free thinker, so we might not see Kelsey to Nick, but that's typically what you're seing.
We'll call you a chalk donk, Nick, if you take Kelsey at 2.
Yeah, how about that?
We'll forever praise you as a free thinker. This is the time to impress us. I mean, you have one of the preeminent scroll down bros right here he's just ready to gush over flipping the board. He's ready to gush over it. Is this your alt, Jay Roto?
Yeah, it sure is.
Jay Roto. Wow.
You guys see me just under the table here.
I've been tuning into his Membies only streams. Jay Roto, solo Roto today. All right, Nick's not a free thinker. You hate to see it. What do we do here?
Let's build that contrarian Hurts team and try and do like Cook plus AJ Brown or something. So start with Cook and see if we get it. If not, then we can pivot and do like Smith and Dotson or something like that.
Okay.
I've been liking James Cook there. Oh, Chipsy.
Wow, Chipsy just
bleeds green.
Wow. Come on, Chipsy. All right. Let's see here. Is Cook Allen unique?
Yeah, I was just about to ask what's the tipping point. Like it's definitely a little bit so, but probably
we just might have to be like double scroll on it.
Okay.
I would say worthy, but yeah, let's go. Let's do Josh Allen.
Or
no.
All right, we'll do worthy.
Nick might let Josh fall too. Nick is a big time QB pusher. And does Jay Roto have a badge? I can't tell.
Every assessment we have had about Nick has been wrong. Free thinker. False. I'm ready. QB pusher.
Steve.
False.
No. Awen jamming in the chat there. Cook at 3. You hate to see it. I would like to know who Awen's been taking at 3 there.
I think Terry McLaurin.
Terry? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Man, no wide receiver score touchdowns against the Eagles. It's crazy.
I think the VORP on like Cook to the next running back is so much greater than Terry to the next wide receivers.
Yeah. That's what
what do I know? I don't win fucking every slate.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's defer.
Speaking of which, shout out to Awin. Last night, Dog Bowl seat there. Best Ball Viper was hanging out in the chat. Dog Bowl seat. Love to see those guys getting back. Unfortunate, came at my expense. Never Bam, boys, but you love to see it.
Do you want to try to do our Hertz thing? You want to do like Goddard and Dotson? Get really funky?
Gonna have to, I think.
Sure, let's do Goddard.
All right.
Let's do Goddard and then put the ball in Chipsy's court here. Interesting. I might just take Jaden and do like Crowder or something. Fall?
Is this a pretty good fall for Jaden to 14, Nez?
Yeah. 4th round Jaden's pretty rare.
Let's do it.
I think another way to get crazy on this too is pairing James Cook with Ty Johnson.
That's fine.
I like the Ty Johnson rule.
That checks out.
Or Ray Davis to get even crazier, because I'm sure that's like Galbrain 101. Oh, you pair. Of course, that's your contention. James Cook to Ty Johnson. You're not trying James Cook to Ray Davis. Two ground and pounds.
It's just a bummer Underdog won't let you draft James Cook, Ty Johnson, and Ray Davis.
Oh,
to really. Man, what a fall from grace for Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh my gosh.
This guy was a 4th round pick in Best Ball Mania and can't get drafted in the 5th round of a conference championship.
4th round pick.
We could do whatever we want now.
I'm trying to get our Crowder.
Yeah. It doesn't matter because Chipsy can't take anybody. So
yeah.
Unless you guys wanted to go double tight end, which probably not with this one.
Yeah. I guess maybe if Ertz was there.
Yeah, Pacheco's interesting in the last round, man.
I was going to say at this price.
I was about to say, yeah, because Crowder we have 2 uniqueness pieces now. It's the fact that we got Jaden with those first 3 picks, and we've got Crowder on this team. So you might just be able to be like, give us the 8 to 10 touches from Pacheco and hope he's the guy who finds the end zone. But they do really like Hunt in that short yardage, and so all the coach speak suggests so. But weirder things that happen.
Yeah, Crowder's the uniqueness on this one
for sure.
I think that's enough to at worst chop with one other person at worst.
Have you been in the smaller contests? Have you been doing like more like onslaughts and stuff?
I've been pretty much in Wildcats and in the big BRs.
Okay.
I haven't done a whole lot of small field yet.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do a small field. Let's do a single entry.
I was about to say redeem yourself.
You want to do Hail Mary?
It's staring you right in the face. Redeem yourself, Pete.
Only if Chris promises that he's not going to play this.
Or at least like don't tag you.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there you go. Now someone can actually get in here with us if they want to. Let's see.
I'm going to call it. I'm going to say Hail Mary is the best sweat on the platform because you don't know that you have the sweat. And then it's either, holy shit, you have $8,000 in your account or you don't. And if you don't, you didn't even know that it might have been there in the first place.
So good. Hey, well, wow. Gracing us with his presence yet again. The Hail Chip, a.k.a. the Heat Chip, a.k.a. what the contest was named after. He's won it like 3 times this winner takes all contest. Maybe
also
4.
I assume he's just sitting in the lobby on plane in like all of these contests, and we're in the exact same position, 1-3, 1-4. We're just gonna get to watch him draft the exact same team.
Literally.
So let's take Terry first this time, or take show him what's up. Yeah.
This is how we fight back against the robots.
And we do know he's a QB pusher now, so we can push QB, and then he'll snap on the corner those 2 dust running backs, and then we'll find it.
I think we've gotten the answer. There's a shout out to Nez's dad, White Chip. Yeah, I think Chip is in auto mode here. All right, We're gonna take McLaurin. Hey Chip, you've revealed your ranks, buddy, and we're on to you.
Let's see what he does.
We'll see if he has Allen.
Chip check. Chip check. Yeah, he's dialed.
He's manually drafted these. Or
Dial
was
for the
he?
chip check. Well, sort of.
Let's take Worthy and push it and see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have to get too cute here. Not yet, at least.
I mean, I'm starting to get a little worried about having 100% exposure to Xavier Worthy.
100%.
No one runs better than Best Ball Viper too, so he's gonna get an Allen Saquon team here too.
Yeah, I've done it. When Allen falls back to Saquon, it feels difficult to pass up.
Yeah, that's a snap select, especially how they've been using. There's a really good nugget in the chat earlier from Kev Wheeler that only 2 of James Cook's touchdowns came inside the 5 this year, and when it's playoff time, my God, are they just leaning on Allen at the goal line there? Like we got that pick 'em home last week with the rushing touchdowns, and he scored 2 of them. I mean, he passes on it.
Damn.
Wow.
See, is this we could do B-Rob or Hunt?
Whichever you guys prefer, but I'd throw my hat in the ring for one of the 2 running backs, and then we can figure the rest out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do B-Rob.
Yeah. So we got B-Rob, McLaurin, and Worthy.
Chips punting QB? No.
Nope.
That was the tipping point in his
so
ranks.
If we want Hurts, we have to take him now because Viper will definitely take him with Devontae and Barkley. Otherwise, we can just have Mahomes with Worthy.
Yeah, I think we should just push it.
Yeah, let's take Goddard and then put the ball in his court because maybe he doesn't want to pair running back and wide receiver with quarterback. Like that's a lot of Eagles stuff, you know? So
yeah.
And if he gives us Hurts back, then we can put like Dotson on this, or we can put Gainwell or something crazy.
Yeah.
And then we could double stack Mahomes with Hollywood.
Love it.
I would be down for that if Viper doesn't get any crazy ideas.
Yeah. And then
what would you rank the rest available there?
Yeah, so we'll take him last.
Hopkins is probably going to be duped. Only 400 person field.
Yeah, it's small. We could do Pacheco, Mahomes again, or
let's do Samaje Perine. We talked about it.
Oh yeah,
trailing script.
All right, cool.
We can get him next. Yeah, here, let's do it.
That's how you winner take all right there. That's Samaje Perine carbon copy to the Super Bowl versus the Rams. Little dump off there from Joe Burrow. 34 yards house call.
Yeah, Chris is a fucking Hail Mary coward.
Yeah, that's right.
The secrecy of his own home, only to emerge when
can't
things
give away the
going
secrets. Just bleed off of these days. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like this team. Yeah, Mahomes, P. Ryan, Worthy, B. Robin, McLaurin, Goddard.
Can we have the macro discussion for half a second there? Do you guys think if you took Pacheco or Hopkins on this team that team would be duped in a 450 person contest?
Honestly, probably not in 450.
Okay.
I mean, you could have a 5v5, but I doubt like a full 6v6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because I do the mental gymnastics of that shit all the time, and I always lend myself to scrolling too far because of it in these 4-person contests. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious.
I would say literally the first 5 picks we made were all chalk selection, and then maybe 6th round would be a little bit. Maybe I bet if you went Hopkins there, I bet people would do a double with Mahomes in that spot.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, you guys want to do? Is there any other draft stuff you guys want to do? I don't think we have. Deposit Kingdom just popped up. I didn't
there we
know
go.
We're going to be getting this.
Yeah, we gotta do that for the culture, right?
Yeah, we have to.
There you go. If you want to get in here, you can get into this one. Talking to you,
right.
Coach.
Coach, you're not tipping off Coach behind the scenes there? No preferential treatment around here?
Influencer 101. Let's go.
I probably should.
Tell Dad there's a tape delay of 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, I usually have my phone on D&D, so I don't get his texts about like what contests are you drafting until like after the show.
Put your dad on
Wow,
D&D
ghosting your
101.
dad.
Everybody
Yeah,
is,
that's
man.
big savage. Big savage.
Not just him. Come on now. The entire notification complex is on D&D.
Wow.
Andrew jumps
Your
in here.
dad's just another pawn in Nez's big social media web.
Just a follower. Okay.
Just another view.
So yeah, there's
right.
there's literally no other option here. It just has
I bet
to be
John
so.
has an idea for flipping the board. What? James Cook? Does James Cook ever make it back to the 101?
Probably not. No, that would probably be the one. Kelsey's not a horrible idea either, but I can't imagine the teams you make are that much different.
Unique.
Right? Like what do you get? What do you get with that?
Yeah. It literally has to be a guy who never makes it back. And chances are Worthy makes it back in some capacity. I guess Terry, but then the teams are the same. I think Cook is the best one, probably. And it's leverage off the Allen teams too.
So what do you do in this spot, Nez?
Usually Shakir and Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Just do what I always do. But you could go Jaden.
Yeah, let's do Jaden
a little bit.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's play like Jaden on the other side of that game. And they got Saquon scores 3 times on the ground, and Jaden's got to cook back. Take Ertz. Flip the board.
All right, here we go. Let's cook.
Because Ertz never makes it back in the 4th, right?
Sometimes, but Deposit Kingdom, it could be, small field, could be a little different.
Yeah. Let's double her.
Shakir and Shakir got to be like 80% owned together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it's hard. But them's
the projections. The sushi tells us that the 0.3 points goes that way. Just play Time Lord in the 6th round instead of Bam, guys. Listen.
Are we gonna get our capitulation on Diami here?
I'm good with it.
As one of these.
Yeah, man. Just Diami.
Should we get our Hollywood too? Since we missed that last time.
Yep. Definitely.
This is how we land this plane. Hollywood scores the big bomb touchdown from that game. That's all that matters. Washington goes nuke here, but it comes at the expense of Barkley. On the other side of this game, how are we going to land this plane? Kenny Gainwell, 6 points in the flex that nobody else is touching and never pairing together.
Yeah, I was going to say, either that or a Bills RB, although someone already took. Did someone take Ty? No. Or Ty Johnson, Ray Davis would be kind of the other way to get access to a Bills score.
Honestly, that probably paints a better picture because we are painting the picture of Commanders win here.
Yeah.
Right?
Or at least keep it close.
Yeah. And keeping it close is bad for Gainwell.
You guys do you like Ty or Ray more here?
Ray only played 6 snaps, but he fell into the end zone.
Yeah, I like Ty Johnson.
Ty's role is legit.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Jaden to Diami and Ertz, Barkley on the bring back, and then just the sexiest mini correlation of Ty Johnson and Hollywood Brown you've ever seen.
That team actually fucks pretty hard. That team's like if you just want to pass on Shakir, that's how you make a competent team right there.
All right. I think we've done enough drafting. I think it's time to do the unthinkable. Pick'ems, spicy margs.
Radioactive spice.
Let's spice it up, slop it up. I mean,
Slide?
permission to slide, Your Honor. You sliders! That's a 65X. That makes me feel things. All right, fellas. What do we got? I got some boosts in the lobby. I get to get rescued on my Jalen Johnson pick'ems from yesterday. And I also have a 70% profit boost here, 3-day picks. All right, let's cook today, guys.
Guys, before we cook, I just got to put it on the record here. We have been cooking, in fact. We took down another pick'em last night. We had that big one with the Mark Dub the night before that. We had the 4 touchdowns from last week. The aura and the energy around the pick'ems right now is next level.
Yeah, I mean, I think we always start with our core, but after that, I think we do 1 touchdown from each team. See if we can keep the 4 touchdown pick 'em going.
I
Yeah,
love
that
that
was
idea.
that was always fun.
Okay, Nez, you start us off with a core here.
Yeah, my core is Devontae Smith receiving yards. I think it's like less than 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like there's not a big difference between Devontae Smith and AJ Brown as far as their outputs go. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's due. Devontae Smith, just absolutely due here. This game, and if this game is fun, right? I think Devontae Smith is gonna go higher than 47.5. He's one of my favorites this week.
I like it. John, you got one for us?
This segment always catches John by surprise. He can't believe you dare blindside him with a core pick 'em.
It's because every time I click on something that's just like so gross that nobody's gonna want to play at all. This is gonna probably piss people off. F1 Terry lower on the longest reception.
I do feel mad. Yeah, I feel really angry.
What is it?
23 and a half.
Do you want to expand on why you would do this to us?
The corners are nice, man. This defense is nice, and De'Ami Brown's their deep threat now.
But do you also remember how Terry McLaurin scored like a 50-yard touchdown in the conference championship game on like a 6-yard pass?
I told you guys this was gonna piss you off. We don't have to.
No,
we don't have to play the no fun. We don't have to play the no fun.
No, because if we take it out and it hits, then you're going to talk about it on 6 straight shows after it. The boys wouldn't let
no one wanted to hear it.
Whereas I'd rather be able to say, John killed another core on 6 more shows.
Yeah, that's way more fun. I want to do that.
We should keep a tally of how many times I kill the core and just core killer versus core winner.
Yeah, you don't want that.
All right, I think I want to do something with just playing this kind of flippening with Kareem Hunt and Pacheco, and I think I just want to do carries here. She's been at 13, 11, 9, and 8 the past 4, and it's at 8.5 here. I'm going to take the higher on Kareem Hunt rushing attempts.
I respect it.
Okay. This is the core. Let me see. I might have to throw my my little boost in here.
Oh. A boost on John's confidence.
Or do I toss in my Jaren? Hey, Nez, is Jaren Jackson Jr. a lock for more than half a point tonight?
I honestly, I'm not even qualified to answer that anymore with the way that my week is gone.
No, I think I got to save him for a 5-legger to get him 3 to 4 is enough. So we'll do a boost on this.
Oh, nice.
All right, 70%. Probably get this up from 6 to 9.5. All right, here we go. All right, that is set. Here's the core. Feel free to tail, to fade, to share, to hate, whatever you need to do to feel better about yourself. All right, should we do our touchdown one? Who's scoring touchdowns in these games?
Yeah, let's do it.
What's the first game?
Good question.
I think it's the Washington game.
Yeah, that'd be crazy to not make the Chiefs Bills the prime time. That'd be nuts. True. How do you follow that up?
So they're still giving us Jalen Hurts push at even money.
I think we just play the MF and hits on that, right? Because did they even give you Saquon touchdown?
0.7.
Honestly, not as bad as I thought.
I know. I thought it was gonna be AJ's 1.27 does not seem like long enough odds for AJ right now.
I know.
Devontae 1.59 is not a bad price, but we're here to hit. We're here to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the feel good about ourselves.
We also did. What did we see? Who did we do for Commanders last week? Or we didn't do Commanders, did we? We did JMO from that game.
Yeah, we just did a game pick, not a team. Yeah.
We just I demanded Jamison Williams.
So
Jaden
is 1.36. Obviously, the McLaurin at 1.34. Although That would kind of go against the spirit of our core. B-Rob at 1.36. Ertz is 1.9.
Kind of don't mind the Ertz.
Yeah, their goal line plays are Ertz or B-Rob. Like they've been doing a little less of that designed. Like the Jaden Daniels stuff is almost all in the middle of the field, and when they get down there, they've been going to the running backs a little bit.
What is Jaden Daniels?
I literally just had a flashback to this game because I remember this was the game. I think I did B-Rob as a scroll down gem that week. Like going undrafted, he had fucking 2 fumbles, scored 1.1 points. I like the Ertz. Should we just swing for the fences here?
Yeah. Well, just so I can get a look. What is Jaden Daniels to rush? 1.3?
1.36, yeah.
Okay.
What's Jamison Crowder to score? I'm just curious. They're too scared. Oaks is scared of me.
No, they'll give it to you.
Oh, they'll give it to you.
4.55.
Yeah.
4.55.
I like the Ertz. I think that's the sweet spot there.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels would be fun, but
he's literally averaged a touchdown a game over the past 4 weeks, so that's free money.
Literally, that's just math.
Yes. All right, now let's go Bills Chiefs.
It's hard not to just like Josh Allen lock.
Just jam it in. They're giving you even money again too. Just jam it in.
I do think we have to do it.
Yeah.
Chiefs always a little trickier. Pacheco's 1.46. Kelsey last week I want to say was like 1.2. He's at 1.05 now. Worthy at 1.38. Hunt 1.28 is pretty interesting. What's our guy Hollywood's at 1.83? Where's our sweet spot here, guys?
My mind instantly said Hunt. But Xavier Worthy's one of like the biggest positive regression candidates. Pacheco had 2 goal line or 2 red zone opportunities last time. Hunt had 1 and scored. Previous weeks, neither of them played. It's been Hunt like 2, 3, 2. Since Pacheco's been back, he's only had the 2 last game, but it did kind of flip last game, which is kind of interesting.
I just got to address the chat on something, guys, right now. Noah Gray, Ken Coleman. So we've entered a new era around here where we try to win pick'ems and not just fucking throw shit against the wall. So let's reel it back in. Reel it back in. I mean, even the Zach Ertz is just getting a little wild.
Yeah, even that. Yeah. We're trying to market here. I would throw my hat in the ring. I would prefer Worthy.
Let's do Worthy.
All right. So that's a 1.38. So this 4-legger gets us up to a 26.22.
That's fun. Nice. That is fun.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
The quarterback rushings at even right now feel really nice for those 2.
For sure.
I have no stats to back this up, but the propensity to rush your quarterback in the postseason comparatively to the regular season. Right?
We're all saying it. Nobody's fact checking it. We're all saying it.
We're all saying it. Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, like it's like statistically back. I mean, Jaden Daniels' designed rush attempts are through the fucking roof relative. Mm-hmm. Like they've legit like over doubled from what he was averaging in the season.
That one adds up. Did you add the Jaren Jackson Jr. to it, or are you saving it?
I didn't, because then I realized when I share it in the chat and with everyone, I don't want people.
Yeah, good call.
I'll do that on my own accord.
You can only do a 10 max with the rescue one anyways, so I mean,
okay.
Yeah, you might as well shoot the bed with those. Yeah,
I'll talk to my NBA thought leaders, and you guys can
whoever they are
how to use that. Des, relax.
Whatever they are.
Can we start to give some money back?
Yeah, I mean, we've taken too much.
I hear one of the most intriguing slides to me is Xavier Worthy rushing yards.
Yes,
and let's say Xavier Worthy gets an end around and takes one to the MF and crib here. You can really have some fun here.
Dude, so I love this one. I was listening to a pod and they were talking about it too. I think he's had like 2 games over 20 yards out, like where he's housed one of those end arounds. Yeah. I think that's an extremely fun slide.
Yeah.
Picture this, guys. Teddy Bridgewater comes in for a play. What's going to happen?
Who would that be for the Matt Castle or?
Yeah, I guess Matt Castle. That's so good.
No, Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz.
Carson
All
Wentz. Yeah, he played that last week. Matt Castle,
7.
great callback though.
Okay, so the next pick that we get is going to be 23x. So we can't do anything more than like 5x on this next one because we got to make sure that we don't cap out.
Okay.
Yes. Which is that's how you know you're cooking, when you're worried about capping out.
Yeah, like guys, we're gonna cook. We're too much sauce.
Them is the maths, dude. You're getting good at the maths with those glasses on. You're now
Let's
the math
isolate
guy.
it.
Yeah,
Let's isolate it to this Buffalo game.
cool.
What
I just-
happens
so
if you
did
just
you do
add
like
the? Yeah, that's exactly.
The
what I was
Allen
gonna-
straight is 23.28.
Yeah,
James Cook Tutty 26. Any other I did want to look at the P Ryan stuff for another one.
Sure.
But yeah, what do you like here?
I mean, I
Ryan's
like
fun.
Allen rushing stuff, whether it's rushing yards, rush touchdown, anything Allen rushing. I just think is just a no brainer, man. Allen is gonna go Super Saiyan in this game, man.
I will just say, not necessarily for this one, but in general, that Mac Hollins is the highest edge one on market-based unabated. They don't have their own football projections up yet, but Mac Hollins' market-based projection for receiving yards is like 9 yards clear of the underdog one right now. So just throwing it out there for it doesn't have to be with the worthy one, because I think we want to spice it up a little bit more, but just in general.
Didn't he have a catch called back last week?
I think he did.
Remembering that? Yeah.
Because I remember him having a touchdown and doing a touchdown celebration.
I mean, you could take him up to 20, which you said that's close to the market-based projection, John?
The market-based is 20.5, yeah.
So if we take
and he's
him
cleared it every week of the last 5 except for 1.
Yeah.
I believe.
I don't even know where this is coming from, but I just like that we're at the point this season where you could say things like, if Mac Hollins scores this weekend, I'm just so turbo dead. I assume this is like playoff best ball, but it could really mean anything.
Ooh,
amazing.
Hots is us giving us a good one for the other game. Jalen Carter higher on the 1.5 sacks for 4.75. That's kind of spicy.
I don't know who Cosme is, but it sounds
He's out.
big that he's
out.
Yeah.
He's out.
This looks like a response that would be in my buddy's group chat when we're discussing hotels for Vegas and they're being stingy and someone writes, no Cosme.
No Cosmo. Anywhere but.
Are you a Cosmo guy? I'm not a Cosmo guy. You like Cosmo?
I like Cosmo.
Yeah, okay.
You remember you met me over at the Cosmo.
Yeah, I like that breakfast spot. That's a good spot. Yeah.
Thank you.
I like hanging out at the Cosmo. I don't like staying at the Cosmo.
Oh, sure. I thought you meant, okay. What don't you, let's not get into
Who cares?
You guys.
Come on. I'll add you offline.
Producer.
What you don't like about the Cosby.
Yeah.
Okay, here it
that
is. So yeah, we're doing Xavier Worthy, Mac Hollins. That is a fun one right there. Anytime you can slide a guy who doesn't wear fucking shoes into the stadium, you got to do it.
Got to. And puts M&Ms in his water.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Freak.
That's a good one.
What a freak.
Yeah, after
Right,
they
who's this
win.
guy?
Private
Carter?
chat, please, Pete.
Not until you say something nice about the Cosmos amenities, brother. Okay, Jalen Carter. We said we're sliding to 1.5 sacks here because there's no Cosme.
I mean, if you didn't know there was no Cosme, you might need to find a new hobby.
What if we do Jaden Daniels rushing touchdown on this one? Because we were maybe kind of thinking about that.
Oh. Jalen Carter is chasing him all the way into the end zone.
Exactly. He gets by one time. Scores.
I like it, man. I want to have some pick'ems with Jaden Daniels rushing touchdowns because that's just fun. I just want to have some fun.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm here for. Just have some fun. Nez wants to give back. Underdog's been so good to him, and now it's time to give back.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Jaden and Jalen. It's like a fucking NBA slate where every single player is named Jalen.
You know what I've been having
5
some
different
fun
spellings.
with? I've been having some fun with these game high X pick'ems. So
Okay.
you can do game high rush or game high receiving.
Yeah.
Game high receiving has some pretty interesting
Talk to me.
multipliers in there. I mean, I know we did Xavier Worthy already, but like, would it shock you if Xavier Worthy had the most receiving yards in this Chiefs Bills game?
Absolutely
2.6x to be the game high receiver.
I guess what Kelsey, I was going to say, isn't the ADP market indicating he will? But I guess they're saying
Kelsey's the leader at 1.35. Next up is Khalil Shakir at 2x, and then Xavier Worthy 2.6.
Cool.
Yeah. So here I have it filtered on the screen to these game high. Devontae seems nice at 3.25 too.
I like that one too. That was another one I was eyeing up. Like you just pair both those.
Yeah, just do them together, one from each game. That'd be a fun little mini sweat.
Yeah.
Pete, before you click enter on this one, can you please direct your eyes to the chat and Nick's comment?
I'd like a private chat, please, Pete. T-shirt.
Yes, in reference to the previous pick'em, please.
Yes. That would sell ones and ones of shirts.
Yes, but also literally the link for the last pick'em, please.
Sometimes I like to hoard these all to myself. I don't have them.
Get an extra click.
Now you can click enter and get the new link.
Thank you. Okay. Yes. This one is fun. Are these new? Like, I don't remember. Are these playoff new?
No, they're like, I think 4 weeks or so new. They had them. They debuted them for like NBA, and then started to see them in here as well. They have game high rush too, but that's a lot less imaginative because like they don't even give you Saquon, of course.
Does unabated price those?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. No, it's not a very liquid market to compare.
We're trying to make it liquid, brother.
We're adding hella liquidity to this
people
thing.
Watching, let's do it. Are there any other fun ones for like rushing or
rushing's hard because like Josh Allen's only 1.6x to be the game high rusher. And then with Washington Philly, like how does anybody but other than Saquon do it? And you can't pair.
They don't even hang Saquon in here.
No, and you can't pair them with Saquon lowers to be like, oh, I'm gonna correlate and say Jaden Daniels, yes, and Saquon.
No, they're on to that.
And you can't do like Jalen Hurts passing attempts either. Can't do that either. But you can do like if you are trying to correlate, you can do that with like receiving higher. You know, you could kind of find your way to do that.
Yeah, I got a fun one.
Okay.
Hollywood Brown, longest reception slide it.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. 17.5. What was that? Nez, can you check your air yards model? Does he have a 45-yarder in him?
The ADOT was 33.5 last week.
Should we keep it at 39.5 here?
I think that's good.
And yeah, so that's a 4.59. What's another one we haven't gotten to? James wants us a little Barkley longest rush slide.
Oh, that's a good one too. One from
I can't
each
believe
game.
Saquon Barkley's longest rush is 25.5. Even money. Money for Saquon Barkley to have a rush of 25 yards.
Wow.
Dude, I think you just ripped this in. I mean, if he does it, it's a 50-yarder.
His hallmark is just icing the game with like,
dude,
oh, there goes Barkley.
Yeah, that is hot.
Tell me that's not a hot 64xer right there.
That's fun. That made me feel alive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, come on. We're not asking too much here.
I hope no one pays attention to my unit size because it's like my sizing
all over the place.
So it's like at the tightest band this week between like $15 and $25. It's like the core, you know, and then like a 60xer. There's just like no sizing differences.
I'm licking my wounds from Dog Bowl, so everything's like $5 for me.
Yeah. I was telling Zakarian this morning. I was like, he told me because I tailed him on one of his pick'ems. And he's like, did you see how close we were on that one? I was like, I didn't even look. I was like, I've been betting less on the pick'ems, so I tilt them less. And then I know right in the morning to check how they did.
Yeah.
Dude, we we got, I don't know if you saw the one from the show yesterday, Nez. Like, we won one of the ones from the show, and then both of the other ones lost by the 0.5.
The hook.
The hook got us. Pete, the t-shirt, please.
Relax. I'm not giving you a t-shirt, but I'll give you a link.
Thank you.
Luckily, I've been keeping track of these, so I can dump the whole thing. If you're watching after the fact, we'll put them in the comments. I'll pin it as the main comment on the video if you want to go and tail all these.
Today I just learned that you could pin a comment in the YouTube.
You didn't know that?
No, I just learned when you
We
said
just
that
live on
right there.
StreamYard. We don't double dip.
All right, let's see. Let's do one more. Who's a player we haven't gotten in a pick'em that we like? Oh, I wanted to do a P Ryan.
Okay.
Maybe just slide his receiving yards if 30 yards, take him up to a 4.4x there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, 29 receiving yards is basically worth the same as a touchdown, so I would definitely take that 29 receiving yards.
And then, let's see, should we think game script, like what's happening? Is it maybe something with James Cook? Like if Cook is cooking?
Yeah, I think so.
What's Ray Davis to score a touchdown compared to Cook, just out of curiosity's sake?
I think 3 something or maybe
3
4.
something?
I feel like that should be higher. 3.15 is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't score last week on the first go, then yeah.
Man, I fucking love... Like, James Cook could so easily run for 100 yards in this spot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're telling me, man.
That's a 75 extra, boys.
And he does have that long... That correlates so well, too. And he does have that long rush speed that we've seen multiple times this year.
Yeah, right? Like on the way to putting up 100 rushing yards, probably breaks one on the way. So
there you go. This is how we win.
This is how we win.
This is how we win.
He's got longs of 46, 41, 65, 49. Like, he's broken off some big ones throughout the season.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what if the other one, if you play, let's see, where's his longest rush? Is it not up here? Why do I see long? Oh, there it is. I'm trying to think like which. Oh, baby. This might be a run it twice situation.
Okay.
Hang on. This actually, okay, we're going to leave that one here. Let's get another higher conviction bet in here because I just want to let James Cook have like a 39.5 at 4 or at 9.93.
And then do just like a 1x multiplier with it?
Or something to like, yeah, what does an even money thing get us to? Like a 30x. Yeah, so like between a 1 to 1.5x.
Mac Hollins, 11.5. Oh, same team.
We need another, yeah.
Yeah.
We could go back to like the Hollywood.
I was going to say Hollywood, man. Like, just receiving yards, like 36.5 receiving yards.
Sure.
I mean,
I might even just give it a little slide.
we need a high conviction. We need a high conviction play that we can slide.
I mean, come on. All right, we're locking that in.
There we go.
Cool. Very fun.
Now, if only Underdog had that round robin button for me, where I could just round robin all of these slides.
Ooh.
Bringing around town.
Actually, Pete, I thought you guys had a fun discussion on Lulls the other day, just talking about how to bet with your buddies. Like, obviously, you were talking about. Did I get this one right? 41x multiplier for the Cook in Hollywood. That sounds right. Okay. Yeah, just like in general.
You can always slide Hollywood a little bit more if you need a little more, brother. Make the move.
But yeah, I just because it's something I always thought about when like buddies would visit me in Vegas and stuff, like how you pool it. I think it's a really good conversation that you guys were having in general, because I think we've kind of really found a fun way to do it on this show with the pick'ems, that like the sweat equity associated with everything we built was really cool there. But yeah, I don't know. We should have a roundtable discussion one day about how we could best create sweats on Underdog with the current parameters. But I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a very different thing. Like, if I'm just cooking up a few for myself, I'm willing to, eat shit on 100xer and just move on. But if you're going to watch the whole game with your buddies, you got to optimize a little differently for the enjoyment of it.
And it's definitely game specific and player specific too. Like there's some of the good sweat equity stuff. Like, when you have a bell cow running back versus a split backfield, like doing rush attempts is like more enjoyable because every time he touches the ball or whatever, right?
Yeah. And understanding it's like, in that game, we had like Joe Mixon rush attempts because it's just like, I don't want to worry about efficiency. And then it's like we get to the Lions game, it's like JMO and Terry McLaurin TDs. Just knowing like if that game shoots out, and then it's like the most euphoric they get, both those guys housing like 50-yard TDs is so fun.
That's good.
One little programming note, so next week obviously is the week off in between the Super Bowl. We'll still have Off and on the Clock on Friday, but we're going to cook up a little NBA themed edition of Off and on the Clock because we're going to have a dog bowl that night. And I think around 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll probably run a show. We're going to bring some guests by and we'll just be ripping dog bowl teams. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be next Friday. And what I believe, are we exactly at the halfway point of the dog bowl qualifiers?
Yep. Last night was number 6. So we have 12 participants now. So 12 more seats to go.
Awesome. And then I think there's one, on Wednesday?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Wednesday or Tuesday next week. There's 2 next week and one's the Friday. I was a little worried there when you got on a roll there, Pete, that we were going to cook up and you said we're going to cook up. And I was like, this guy's going flag football Pro Bowl pick'ems on us, isn't
Oh
he?
my God.
Do they have those?
Not yet. We'll see. We shall see.
Dude, that used to be like back when Redacted had Pro Bowl DFS. That used to be so fun. Like the defenses would be underplayed. Like I remember ripping it. I had some like big volume on those slates. That was so fun.
Holy shit.
True sicko niche sport there. That's the
and then they ruined it. The pussification of the Pro Bowl. Trump signed an executive order to bring back full contact.
Tackling. I love it. Oh, that's good.
So yeah, that'll be next week. Do you guys have any other programming notes? Nez, are you rolling tonight?
I am not tonight. We are going to a friend's for dinner, so that'll be nice. So yeah, taking the night off from the old No Strip stream, but we'll be back next Friday in conjunction with the dog bowl. Hopefully, have a live sweat. That would be fun.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I just got a message from my mom confirming a dinner tonight, so I'm out there too. So, but I was just about to say maybe I'll do it right after, or maybe I'll do it on Monday. I really want to do Dinger for the paywall, and I really want to do just like kind of I don't know, like what you do with the DFS stuff after dark, Pete, when you do a solo and you just kind of like talk about some things that are going on. I kind of got like a little bit of feeling of that to talk about what's been happening with the dog bowl and recent NBA slates and like just sort of like having like a roundtable discourse kind of thing with the community.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
I would look forward to listening to that. I do not have a special dinner tonight, but any dinner with my wife and my precious baby is special. So I think I do. And I am going to do an After Dark tomorrow. Same thing. I've been lazy booking guests, so I'll just do a solo. Some people have been asking me about my sweat in the gauntlet, and I have kept this so close to the vest. So if you want to become a member, I will reveal my gauntlet team with 7 live players.
Oh, beautiful.
Stream.
Whoa.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And I think what I'll do is I'll print it out and I will obscure them, and throughout the show I will slowly reveal one by one all my live players. If Jewish McCaffrey's in my pod, do not you dare blow up my spot, Mr. McCaffrey.
He's about to break down your fucking roster one by one.
He just tweeted that shit out.
Yeah, way to go.
I'll out him and his fucking dead ass team. I think he has like C.J. Stroud and Matthew Stafford as his quarterbacks or something. All right, yeah. So that's it. And then you guys will be back for the usual shows next week. I should do, I'll probably do a portfolio review on Monday. Hopefully I can get some volume in here over the next couple of days, but appreciate you guys hanging out. And make sure you guys are subscribed to both the BadgeBros and Pete Overzet YouTube channels. We both have those premium memberships. If you guys want to catch streams like John's solo run, like the Nez stream, no strip, like the Members Only Hoop streams and my After Darks, all of that good stuff, you can tap into via the YouTube memberships. Otherwise, good luck this weekend in all of your contests. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you guys around. Peace.